Yeah, no, I want to give you guys the 101 on Outer Worlds 2, and I honestly want to tell you guys kind of my thoughts, my opinions, the good, the bad, and what the internet and what everyone else is kind of saying about it, and then show you guys some numbers and really just help you decide or understand what it's going to be about. This first impression is probably going to be the only review I do over Outer Worlds 2 because honestly, I wasn't that into it. I didn't care for it, nor did I want to really continue going back into the game. When it came to the game itself, like for me, a lot of it just had to do with the story. The dialogue, there were a lot of good things about the dialogue system, but because of the story, the dialogue got underused. The way that the game level design was made was very tit for tat. It was like, hey, very obviously go do this for me and I'll do this for you. And everyone was trying to send you to an objective. So where I saw the concept that they were trying to make a game where you got to go around and make choices, and it was your choice how you got to do things, and how you completed the level was up to you, which is really cool. But the way they went about doing it felt very dated, felt very 10, 15 years old, and a lot of storytelling and a lot of game development has kind of evolved past that. And that's really the issue with this game, is that it feels very dated. It feels like something that should have come out years ago and it would have been okay then, but charging us $70 for what we get now for a game that can essentially be completed within 20 to 25 hours feels too much, and really takes away a lot of the enjoyment from the game for me. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. The critics, what have the critics been saying about it? Well, the top critic average is around 80%, 80 scores, which is a good, strong score according to OpenCritic. For me personally, this game can't get past a 6 out of 10. This kind of goes back with the outdated features. It's not so much that using outdated features is bad. Spider-Man PS4 has proven to us that you can refine, improve, and do what you want with features that have existed long time ago. It's more or less the use of it, of introducing a game that plays like other open world RPG games, but lacks a lot of the features. Some of that being, I am unable to see some dude with a hammer, kill him, and take his hammer. Items seem to be scriptedly dropped in places. Same goes with other things. A lot of the game just feels very scripted and linear and grindy. It's a mix between Assassin's Creed Shadows and Oblivion, but it is unable to, or I should say Fallout New Vegas, but it is unable to really take the best out of both of them. And that's the problem I have with the game. It feels like I'm playing a cheaper, worse version than Fallout New Vegas, but in reality, I'm paying more for this game, and it's supposed to be a AAA experience. So for me, a 7 out of 10 at the very least means that you're doing the bare minimum to just pass. I feel like they've actually regressed. Therefore, the highest score I would give it is like a 6 out of 10, maybe even a 5 out of 10, because the game's kind of forgettable for me. But I didn't beat it, so that's just kind of like a vibe type of scoring. Why are people saying this? Now, to be fair, do I think a lot of these reviewers have beat it? It's a 20-hour game, so there's a potential that they actually did. I wouldn't put it past them if they did. And so 8 out of 10 from PC Gamer, an RPG with a great sense of fun and whimsy, as well as surprising depth to its character building. I will agree with that. The character building is actually really, really fun, really cool. You really get to customize and make a character that just fits you. And because of the way that I created my character, I was able to have like specific interactions. Like I gave myself the lucky feature, which was like, oh, you might randomly get lucky at random times. You don't know when it's going to happen. and I didn't like any of the questing of how things were supposed to go for the first area. So I decided to just storm the castle. I was like, you know what, screw it. I'll be a 1-man or 3-man army, technically, with my companions. I'll go in there and we'll just kill everyone. I don't care if they're over level or not. I'm just gonna freaking use as much of my skill as a gamer as I possibly can and take whatever I want to take and do this how I want to do. Screw being beholden to anyone else in there. I did also pick the renegade background, so I really made my character like myself, if you couldn't tell. But yeah, I ended up being put in a situation where I had to choose to destroy one town or the other, and I was like, oh crap. But then my lucky feat came in, and it was like, no, actually everything's gonna work out for you. Don't worry about it. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool how I could build a character that fit my playstyle, that fit what I wanted to do, because all I did was upgrade my guns, all I did was upgrade my speech. I was able to use my silver tongue to talk my way out of a boss fight. It really was a cool and interesting and fun experience, which goes to show character building's really strong. Dialogue's really unique. The humor in this game can be funny, but the story and the actual world building and the level design, all of it just feels grindy and takes away from the parts that are really good. It takes away from the parts of the game that really push itself. And I think the problem with this game is that it never truly wants to push itself. And we'll go into that more. IGN. Once you get past a weak first act, The Outer Worlds 2 sharpens Obsidian's RPG formula with a smarter writing and better combat. I disagree with both these statements. Maybe it's smarter than the first. Maybe the combat's better than the first. I didn't play a lot of the first. I will say that I enjoyed the first. The only reason I stopped playing the first was because I realized I couldn't romance any of the companions, and I was like, well, screw this. But yeah, when it comes to smarter writing and better combat, I think the writing is very imposing. That's what I don't like about it. What does that mean? What does imposing writing mean? Well, imposing writing means instead of showing you how a character goes from A to B, it just tells you what a character feels. So a lot of these characters, they struggle from having external issues. They struggle from being able to get the thing that they want, but they already have decided who they are as a person. So they've already decided they're going to work for the anti-corporation, or they're going to work for the Earth Federation, or whatever they're all called, right? These characters have already decided who they are grown to be. And a lot of the way the story, what it does is every person is good. They're just trying to get to where they want to get to, essentially, with no growth from the character whatsoever. So every person wants to complete their action, and that's where the story just lacks. That's where it's just hard to get invested in, because you're just kind of like, oh, there's nothing to get invested in. There's no characters for me. They're only relatable. And when all you do is just make people relatable, it's hard to empathize. And if you can't empathize, you can't invest. I'm not saying relatability is the worst way to write, but it is a weaker form of writing that a lot of writers try to avoid when they're trying to write something good. That's why I think the writing isn't smarter. It may be wittier, like they may make smart remarks and say like capitalism's bad, boo capitalism, which can be funny at times, but most of the time, because of the way that they've written most of their characters, everything turns into tit for tat. Combat, I think combat is only better due to the character building. I don't think the NPCs themselves are actually better at combat. They're actually just like, they're kind of just stupid. The only thing, they have their aimbot maxed out so they can't miss. So they're always going to hit you. So if anyone shoots you, you get hit. So the cover combat isn't even like that great. Stealth ends up being more your friend than anything else, with there being no real way for you to counteract the combat. When you think about, other games and how do they address shooting and combat, the NPCs have a chance of missing, or you have the ability to protect yourself by some way, whether it be a physical shield or like an energy shield, or there is something that you are willing to sacrifice in order, there's some armor you're willing to break in order to trade blows with the enemy. Outer Worlds 2 doesn't really give that to you for combat, so stealth ends up being kind of a meta way of playing, a kind of the way you lean into. I would start off with stealth to take the most out of a situation, but then would immediately just do the best I can to cover shoot and exploit how dumb the NPCs were. Whether that's hiding an event, killing someone, hiding, making them be like, oh, I guess it must have been the wind that killed them, and then having them run away. Eurogamer, The Outer Worlds 2 is far better and worse, still fluffy gaming comfort food, but it's significantly improved and better than its predecessor in almost every way. The Outer Worlds 2 from Game Rant is bigger and better than its predecessor, and absolutely okay. And so we're already starting to see Games Journal Media pasta copy. They're hitting Control C, Control V. Sometimes it feels like they just have a script of what they're saying. A lot of why this game has been given an 8 out of 10, a 9 out of 10 seems to be, oh, it's just better than the first one. The Outer Worlds 2 shows that Obsidian won't be left behind as other great RPGs launch to critical success. Ooh. So you can see up here, I have some articles pulled up that we're going to get to. But this is a big problem with the game right here. This is the crux to the issue of the game right here. And we might as well talk about it right now since I'm reading it. Launched to critical success, and that the developers need to play to its strength. I only hope that it learns to take itself more seriously, because the setting is brimming in potential that is yet to be realized. Ooh, wait, she actually makes a great point. No, she makes a fantastic point here, because she's talking about, like, yes, they want to go their own way, but they have potential and they're not taking full advantage of it. And what does she mean by won't be left behind by other RPGs? Well, the issue with Outer Worlds is that they have gone out of their way to say it would, these Game Journal Medias have gone out of their way to say it would suck if every RPG was like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Outer Worlds 2 dialogue system was originally way more complicated, but one conversation took 6 months to develop. And then right here, Obsidian wants to establish Obsidian RPGs with games like Outer Worlds 2 and Avowed, not chase what already exists in competitors like Baldur's Gate 3 and Cyberpunk 2077. Sorry. All these articles are playing defense for Outer Worlds. And I think there were 2 or 3 other ones that we went over on Sunday. But why are all these journalists going on defense for Outer Worlds 2? That is the question you have to ask. And it's like, you see right here, the VPs, you have Marcus Morgan, a vice president, and Justin Birch, another vice president of Obsidian, say our goal with the Outer Worlds and Avowed is to more clearly define what it is to be Obsidian as a standalone entity, as opposed to chasing after what already exists. Now, why would you not want to keep up with your competitors? Why would you not? I get that they're saying like, oh, we want to do our own thing. We want Obsidian not to be a copy of Cyberpunk. We want, Outer Worlds not to be a copy of Skyrim or Oblivion or Fallout New Vegas, because we want people to see our own thing. The issue is they are taking elements that have already existed. They're taking a bunch of mechanics that we've already seen within the last 25 years of RPGs, and they're not doing anything new. They're not doing anything unique. And yet you have these game journalists come out here and say, oh, it's not bad, it's just different. When that's not really the case, if we're being honest. And these aren't necessarily my words. These are the words coming from Vavra. Sorry. These are the words coming from Vavra, as he posted on Twitter here, as he gave a review saying the game is a 7 out of 10. But what I find sad is that the company and the people, now mind you, this is the guy who worked and helped develop Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I find it sad that the company and the people who gave us one of my favorite games ever, Fallout New Vegas, have been unable, even after 15 years and with all Microsoft money. He hit him like that. He really hit him like that. And latest technology advances to come up with a single new game mechanic that could take this proven but ancient formula somewhere new. Can any of you think of a single new game mechanic in the Outer Worlds that wasn't already in Deus Ex or the original Fallout games more than 25 years ago? Unfortunately, I can't. Give me a living simulated world, true non-linearity. Give me something more than loot boxes, maintenance shafts, loading screens, and level grinding in a static scripted world. And this right here is a perfect description of how to critique Outer Worlds 2. Level grinding in a static scripted world. That is what Outer Worlds 2 feels like, and how I would aptly critique it. Yet you have them going over here saying, you know, every game would be bad, every game would suck if it was like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And you go down here to this article right here. It's amazing how many people struggle to accept that different people like different games. I love KCD 2, but Outer Worlds 2, which I wanted to read that as Overwatch 2, is still a lot of fun in different ways. I need to play the game to... I don't need every game to be KCD. I don't need every game to be Outer Worlds. It's nice to have a spread. And the thing is, when you start going around and saying stuff like this, saying it's not a bad game, it's just a different game, you're entitling people's opinions. You're entitling people's views on if they like the game. There's nothing wrong if you like Outer Worlds 2. There is nothing wrong if you like Outer Worlds 2. There's nothing wrong if you like a bad game. There's nothing wrong if you like a mediocre game. There's nothing wrong if you like a trendy, popular, successful game, right? But being able to acknowledge the issues that a game puts in front of itself, being able to critique the game is important. That is whenever you truly love a game. That is whenever you truly love something, is if you're able to critique it and want to help it grow, understand its flaws, and go through those growing pains with it. And I find it interesting that someone here gives an actual critique over the game, someone who is also in the industry, who gave the game a 7 out of 10, which in my opinion is more generous than what I would have done, is only a step down from what critics have averaged. And yet you have Games Journal Media going and insulting him, going and saying, oh, we don't want, misinterpreting his words, deflecting, taking the argument somewhere else, and making bad on his character. And you see the consequences of that is when other people don't actually listen to what Vavra was saying, and they're just like, well, I like the game. I can like both games. What's wrong? He's not telling you you shouldn't like Outer Worlds 2. And that's the problem these days, is that when you critique something, people take it as offensive. There's nothing offensive about critiquing anything. It's seeing a problem and asking yourself, is that a problem and can we do better? And that's what these journalists need to do, is they need to ask themselves, what could Outer Worlds 2 do better? And yet I don't see any of them saying that. I'm seeing them talk about this game like it's a 9 out of 10, like it's just as great as any other RPG. It's just as great as Baldur's Gate 3. It's just as great as Elder Scrolls. We had Oblivion come out this year. Oblivion Remastered came out. Look at this. Outer Worlds 2 has 5,000 players right now. 7,000 peak. All-time peak was 18,000 players, right? How does that compare to the first game? All-time peak of 20,000 players. It is slowly degrading, not by much. I would, and if I'm going to be honest, a 2,000 difference is basically nothing at all, in my opinion. But you are not seeing an improvement. You're not seeing hype. You're not seeing people want to come and play this game. And you have 800 people playing this game right now with a 1,000 24-hour peak. And there's a little bit of a bump right here, and it probably has to do with the fact that the second game is coming out. But then we look at Avowed, another 20,000 players. You have this company that's been out for 15 years. This is the company that made Fallout New Vegas, a lot of personal favorites for a lot of fans out there, and they're doing this. And what do they have to say about it? Oh, we're not doing bad, we're just different. It would suck if Outer Worlds 2 pushed themselves like every other RPG game out there. Outer Worlds 2 had a dialogue system that was more complicated, but one conversation took 6 months to develop. They're not being efficient with their time. You know, this article goes in there and talks about the dialogue system, and a dialogue system is something I heavily enjoyed in this game. And then there were parts of it I didn't like. I loved how I felt like I was having a conversation with these people. I loved that they would make facial expressions and that they would react and that they would, but because the story is so bad, because the character would I would talk to someone and they would basically say, "Hello, I am the general for Auntie Cleo's corporation, and I love Auntie Cleo, and I am dedicated to her and her alone." And then that's it. You've already established who you are as a person, and you've already told me whether I should be interested in you or not. This game sets NPCs around the map for a character, for people to look for someone that they can relate to. And so then you walk around the map talking to all these people and you're like, "Oh, I like this guy. I'm going to help this guy out." That's it. It's very binary. It's very just like, "Oh, tit for tat. You want this, you got to do this." When it should be, if you're going to have such a dynamic dialogue system, let me understand this person. Let me see what they're struggling with internally. I'm a general with Auntie Cleo, but Auntie Cleo has not supported the cause here on this colony. And I have soldiers defecting, and I don't understand why they're defecting. And then you go on this journey with this general, and then you get to help her decide if she should defect or if she should take all her soldiers and cut off their heads and put them on pikes in front of the town to teach everyone a lesson from defecting from Auntie Cleo. That's how you make your dynamic dialogue system fit within a thriving, growing, immersive story. But the game doesn't do that. You're just like, "Oh, do I want to help you or not?" And the worst part about this complex dialogue system is there isn't just I've heard enough, I want to continue and go. Sometimes the only option to end the conversation is to end it prematurely and not to just be like, "Oh, okay, I've gotten everything I need. Let's just continue on with what's going on." They want you to try to learn more about this character, but when a character immediately tells you who they are upon an interaction, a lot of times when you're going through the dialogue options, they're just repeating what they said in different words. And you actually learn nothing new, and it's all just fluff, right? So all this, The Outer Worlds 2 is bigger and better than the first game in every aspect, with deep, rich role-playing and plenty of freedom to tailor your experience. All of this is true, but all of it is shallow. It's all tit for tat. It's all do this for me or do that for me. There's no actual growing story. Maybe at the end of an arc, when you come to the end of like an area, it has some growth to it, but even then it's not much. Like you think about the beginning area, and you got to go into the Vox station and you get to the general, and I increased my dialogue because I enjoy dialogue, I enjoy story. And so I'm talking to this guy and he's like, "Oh, my friend in there, he's gone crazy. He's going and killing too many of our soldiers. I need to talk to him and tell him the error of his ways." And so in order to convince him that the guy's wrong, you have to go and find evidence. And then once you get the evidence, you go in there and you talk to him. But it really is just like, that's it. That there's no depth to it. It's just, "Hey man, you're wrong, man. Just give me control." And then like everything, like that'll be it. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, you're right. I'm just going to go hang myself. I'm probably going to hang for what I've done, and I deserve the punishment." And he walks away. And you're kind of just like left there just being like, "Okay, well, what's next?" And that's what this game leaves you feeling, is just like, what's next? And I do think it fails at storytelling. I do think it fails at level design. I think it fails at combat, and the reason I think it fails at all those things is because everything is so shallow. When you do try to get into it, when you do really try to interact with it, you just find out how easy it is to exploit all of it. And that's what made me really lose interest to the game. And when you have a game that isn't really pushing itself to do much, you can understand why it only has 20,000 players, right? Why is it in Avowed? You look at Avowed as well, that came out this year, 20,000 peak players, 9 months. And then we look at Elder Scrolls, which has been out for 7 months, 200,000 peak players. With 1,000 players right now and 22,000 within the last peak. I mean, it's already doing better and kind of not really much of a competitor to Outer Worlds 2, but why is it doing better than Avowed, which came out this year, than Outer Worlds, why is it doing as good as Outer Worlds, which came out 5 years ago? You know, like, this is a game that is 20 years old. 20 years old! And it's competing with these guys. And they're essentially the same genre. It's because whenever you kill someone in Oblivion, you can take their armor. You can take their weapon. When you see something in Oblivion and you decide to go explore it, you get rewarded for it. And Outer Worlds does that to some extent. But you get blocked off because of the character builder. You get locked out of areas because you don't have engineering. Sure, sometimes there's a workaround. You know, you couldn't get into this vault. Look outside the building, climb around. There's an entrance on top. But when you're in the middle of a mission and you see all these things for engineering and lockpicking, and you're like, well, I didn't invest in that. You know? And because I didn't invest for that, the game kind of punishes me. Whereas, like, you look at Skyrim and it says, hey, just do it. The more you do it, the more we're going to reward you for it. The more we'll just level you up for doing it. Don't worry about putting points into something. Just do it. And the more you do it, the more better you'll get at it. And then you look at Kingdom Come Deliverance, which you can't say they did it. They do the same philosophy. If you just work on something, we'll reward you for it. We encourage you to interact with every and any part of our game. And they took that from Skyrim. That was something Skyrim gave to the RPG world, to the RPG landscape. And it's an improvement on the genre as a whole. I'm not saying point systems are bad. I like point systems. I like the idea of handcrafting a character and having flaws and having strength. But Kingdom Come Deliverance does a way better job at having those flaws and having those strengths. And because Kingdom Come does a better job at that, when I play a game like Outer Worlds 2, it feels like a huge, huge setback. Which is why I can't give Outer Worlds a 7 out of 10. For me, at best, it's like a 6 out of 10. But what do people like about the game? What is it that people are saying that is great about the game? So when we come over here, you see that people gave it mostly positive reviews. I'm a fan of the Outer Worlds franchise and would recommend this game, but if you're like me and don't care for 100% completion of dumb collection quests, that's me right here, I would wait until this game goes for sale. $70 for a 20 to 25 hour playtime is not worth, in my opinion. Still fun to play, though. Definitely a step up from the first game. This to me is a honest review. He had fun playing the game. Doesn't feel like it's worth $70. Was an improvement from the first game. More honest than I feel like the IGN and all of them giving it an 8 out of 10. And can you think about games that have been giving an 8 out of 10? I mean, they gave Dragon Age Veilguard a 9 out of 10. Why? Why do they do that? Let's see what someone who says not recommend. It's just okay. Maybe worth $30 on sale, not $70. The bland writing, unsympathetic factions, and bland characters made me lose interest in doing side quests, and I was trying to finish as quickly as possible about halfway through. That sounds a lot similar to what I had to say. Why is it bland? Well, I explained why it's bland. Because there's no internal conflict within the characters. There's only external conflicts. The characters are already established for who they are. Another not recommended. This game has no soul. Yep, and it's because there's no characters that are trying to grow in the game. All the NPCs besides your companions are Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head combos of facial features and ridiculous hairstyles, voices that gunplay is okay, not great. It's not like Fallout without the VATS. It's because there's no like system in place. There is the slow motion system, but it works for like 1 or 2 guys, unless I guess you can upgrade it. But then early on, you're getting swarmed by a lot of people. So it works for 1 or 2 guys, but doesn't really work much else anywhere else. The non-human enemies are reskins on every planet. Yep, they all act the same for the most part. So all the open world encounters feel exactly the same. Yep, because the NPCs are just not that smart and they can be exploited. They might have different mechanics, but because they all act the same, they all get exploited the same way. So the way you're playing the game from the first hour stays the same within the 20th hour. Where are the intelligent alien species? Yep. There are way too many checks during interactions with NPCs that usually ends up with you not being able to get a preferred outcome. It's like they took the speech stat from Fallout and divided a bunch of those checks and gave them to other traits. Also, speech is only used to bypass combat in this game. True. That's my only experience with it too. You can't use it to get any more information. You can't seduce a person into conveying more information to you. You have to go over, look around the world, find the information, and then present it as evidence. There are never single moments of awe for me in the 50 hours. Nothing made me excited to explore or fight. All the planets have odd features that just look arbitrary and don't add anything to the atmosphere. I think that's a bit opinionated. I think the game looks pretty good. I think it looks like you're on an alien planet. It has a certain aesthetic to it. I think this is kind of a subjective take, but there's nothing about the land that immerses you into the world itself. So in that case, yes, it is pretty arbitrary. Oh, this planet has crystals. Cool, except they look out of scale and low res. On the planet has giant crystal structures everywhere, but they are weird piss yellow color. This is one hub area, forces you to use a tram over and over again, takes more than minutes. There is zero customization, no transmog, no follower gear, nothing. The armor you get also looks ridiculous. Yes, I'm so sick of these games having such ugly freaking styles. Like, I feel like in some of these games, especially in like Outer Worlds and Avowed, it's almost like they want you to look like a fashion model. So they want you to redefine what fashion looks like, but you just look ugly. Okay, I just don't get it. You look ugly. It looks weird. The devs also thought it would be a great idea to cover almost every large open area with fields of landmines. Wow, it happens in more areas than one. That's stupid. That's lazy. That's lazy engagement. Just to force you to use a gimmick gadget that you won't use. I just shoot them. Just shoot them. Who cares? Just shoot the guns. After the umpteenth time of walking into an invisible mine, oh, they're invisible? You will be dropped to explicitives. I guarantee it. Yes, I played the game for 56 hours. I don't abandon games. I paid full price for it. I played it on Game Pass, and I play a lot of games on Game Pass, so I'm paying $30 for that now. Unreal Engine 5 not stuttering every 2 seconds. Unheard of. There were people that showed that it stuttered, but honestly, my PC handled it really well. Can't say the graphics were amazing, but I didn't have any like stuttering issues, and I'm not one to really care for graphics. Played for 33 hours. I'm really enjoying the game. It's not as good as New Vegas. Again, we're seeing a lot of the same sentiments from people. From the people that are giving it thumbs up, from the people that are giving it thumbs down. This is where we critically think. This is where we put together everything that they're saying. It's fun. I can have fun with it. It's not as good as their best game, New Vegas. It doesn't match, it doesn't meet or beat it, but it's also better than their previous game, Outer Worlds. It's not worth $70. Does that sound like an 8 out of 10 game for you? No, it's a game that doesn't push boundaries. It's a game that improved upon the first, but doesn't improve its overall self. And if people who recommend this game are saying wait for it to come on sale, if everyone is saying it's not worth $70, why is it that Games Journal Media here is trying to convince us it's an 8 out of 10 game, it's worth our money, it's different, not bad, and that it's okay? This is a game that if people are saying it's not worth $70, this company, this studio, Oblivion, fucked up somewhere. Fucked up. If people are not feeling like they're getting their money's worth, you are not providing an 8 out of 10 service. 8 out of 10 means they're doing above average. It is good. This is worth your time. You want this. Look at this wording. Bigger and better. Bigger and better. Better and worse. Outer Worlds 2, better and worse, still fluffy gaming comfort food, but is significant. Oh, wait, I actually like what this guy said. I know I already read it before, but yes, fluffy comfort gaming food, but he gave it a 4 out of 5. That's at least a 3 out of 5 if you're going to say it's fluffy gaming comfort food, because that's all it is fluffy gaming comfort food. Would you rather, let me ask you this, would you rather have a $3 burger from McDonald's, which, mind you, they used to cost $1, but God, back in my day, a McDonald's burger was $1.08 with after tax. Would you rather want a $3 burger or a $20 steak? If you ask me, I'd take the $20 steak. But if I'm getting charged $20 for a $3 burger, I'm going to be pissed. And if you're going to tell me this is a 8 out of 10 burger that's worth $3, but it tastes as good as a $20 steak, I'm going to be pissed when I eat that burger and think to myself, oh, I could have paid $3 for this at McDonald's. Absolutely ridiculous. And I totally agree with these reviewers here. It's fun, but not great. Let's finish this one. It's not good as New Vegas, but definitely better than the first game. I like the humor and the world building. The combat is fluid and responsive with different tools, weapons at your disposal. It will make every encounter a joy. Most of the characters are well written and voiced. I disagree with that. The quests and have different opinions on how to approach things depending on your preferred playstyle. That's cool. Yes, he is right about that. That is something some people haven't brought up. And yes, they will talk about how to approach things. And again, that goes back into playstyle. So they did a really good job at creating different playstyles. I think they did a really bad job at creating a world that enhances that experience. Downside, it's too easy, too fast to get rich due to stealing and all the loot rewards. It is so easy to steal in this game. Because this world is static, it is 5% better than Avowed. In Avowed, everyone just stood there. In this game, they will walk every once in a while, but they are definitely scripted to stand in specific areas and not do much and only talk to specific people. It is not like Oblivion, where they had daily lives and routines that they would walk around, and by the start of the day, they'd be waking up from their bed, going and walking around, talking to every NPC in town, and by the end of the day, they'd be going back to that same bed to go to sleep, locking their doors every time they would leave their house. You think about Kingdom Come Deliverance, they did the same thing. People in Kingdom Come Deliverance took this a step farther because the NPCs would actually go to work. Every peasant had a job, and if they did it, they were begging for money. And you have this game where it's too easy to steal because they didn't push themselves to make a game. And by the way, yeah, it sucks that NPCs don't drop weapons, they don't drop hammers. But if you can go around, steal everything, there's no weight limit, by the way. There's no there's not really an encumbrance tool in the game. Grab everything, sell it. Once it's sold, the vending machines have everything you could need or want. So, because this is what I mean by the game, the level design, and the world is not designed to enhance a certain play style. If I'm going to be a thief in Oblivion or Skyrim or Kingdom Come Deliverance, I have to think like a thief. I have to be like, okay, when did this guy leave his home? Okay, how good is my lock picking? Oh, is this guy a noble? Can I break into his house and get more stuff out of it? Oh, this is a guild. What can I do to get this person to stop sitting in front of this glass cabinet so I can steal this enchanted sword? They didn't bother to build a world that felt alive, an open world that felt alive. Therefore, all you do is exploit. And that's all these people are talking about. The game is easy to exploit and it takes away the fun. Why? Because there's no challenge. Joy and happiness come after you've accomplished something or come with something with ease. Fulfillment comes whenever you've pushed yourself through a challenge. And when a game teaches you how to be fulfilled in a situation, you are happy that you've accomplished something. And the easier the accomplishment, the lower the joy and happiness that you get out of it. So that's kind of it. That's what I have to. This is why I stopped playing the game. Those are my thoughts on it. What did you guys play it? Did you finish it? Do you think it's worth $70? Is there any other points that I missed? Nope, I hit just about everything. Well, until next time, YouTube. Play nice.